Hello everyone, I am the Conage, and I will be bringing to you today another StarCraft 2 commentary. Today the game will be on the ladder. I believe it's a Platinum League game between two opponents, ScoJoFoSho and TheWetFart. Now in the bottom left is where we have our red Terran, ScoJoFoSho, who I have broadcast before, and you may be asking me, hey Conage, why is ScoJoFoSho in like every game that you cast? Well, you know what? He's the only one who's ever sent me replays, so, if you want your games cast, you can send me some replays too, and I'll be happy to cast them. And in the top right, we have our blue Zerg, TheWetFart. Now, his main advantage is his fantastic name, in fact. I mean, a wet fart is pretty much better than any dry fart could ever hope to be. So, this is the game we'll be looking at. Two very distinguished opponents, very good names, on Xel Naga Caverns, a very small map. Now, what do we have starting off here? We have ScoJoFoSho coming down with a supply depot, starting the wall in. Very standard play, And then we have TheWetFart not going with any spawning pool or extractor yet, so I'm expecting a 15 hatch, followed by spawning pool and whatever else he wants to go with. A very standard opening. Something that is fun to do as a Zerg player since, well, economy's all nice and good. And what do we got here? We got a drone moving across the map, looking for some scouting. See if he can't get behind this wall and figure out what ScoJo is up to. Now, if we look at ScoJo, we can see so far there's no gas. So it's possible he's going for an early expand or perhaps some sort of marine push early on. And, well, he doesn't seem to like this drone very much, so he is attacking it with his SCVs. And the drone's going to come down here and see that there's no gas being taken, and it's going to tip him off to that something that is not entirely standard is going on. And back over in TheWetFart space, we have a hatchery coming down at 15, and some more drones being come out. Looks like there's a little bit of a missed rally here, as the drones are just kind of hanging out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but whatever. He seems to be cool. The Overlord's moving across the map, and we got, a 2 racks opening. 2 racks pressure, very nice. This will be pretty strong against a hatch first build as we got going on. As we can see, the spawning pool's just now coming down, so he's going to probably have to, TheWetFart's probably going to have to take up some drones to defend this. We'll see how this plays out. And looks like there's not much else going on at the moment. We got gas being taken for our Zerg player over here, and orbital commands coming through for our Terran player. And aside from that, not too much else is going on. Just some drones, some SCVs, and likely to be some Marines coming soon. We'll see how soon ScoJo pushes out. Interestingly enough, he's not pushing out immediately with his 2 racks. It looks like he's going to mass up some Marines first. We'll see how this plays out. The only problem with this is that there's possibility that there will be Zerglings or even a spine crawler up if, TheWetFart scouted this properly. And if we look here, he did see the 2 racks, so I'll be expecting some sort of defense. Right now we only have 4 Zerglings coming through. That's not going to be enough to stop this, especially if there's some bunker placement going on. But maybe TheWetFart is just planning to use some drones, maybe preparing to get his queen out. There's 2 queens out, rather. Oh, here's a spine crawler. So, yeah, we got TheWetFart's preparing pretty nicely for this if there is going to be some 2 racks pressure, which I'm expecting very soon, but it's followed up by Command Center. Very nice. So this is a nice, strong little 2 racks pressure play. Though I would have liked it a little better if he came out sooner, so he could have, got here before any sort of spine crawler was going to come down. And this is the push is scouted out perfectly since TheWetFart has Zerglings at each Xel Naga tower, looking in the middle of the map. So these Marines are probably not going to be able to do that much, especially with another spine crawler coming through, a couple queens moving down, and, well, actually 10 Zerglings coming in. Wow, so yeah, this should be cleaned up pretty easily. Well, actually, ScoJo may be able to move around the other side and get some drones. No, he decides to focus down the spine crawler right here, and he forces a cancel. The Zerglings and queens come in. It doesn't look like ScoJo's attack is going to do too much damage, though it did force some lings, so that's always a nice thing to do to your Zerg opponents, since you don't want them to just build drones all day, because that's, pretty much what they want to do. As you can see, another 10 lings coming out. This might be a little bit of a overreaction to the small amount of Marines, which is a pretty good play on ScoJo's part, actually, to get this kind of link production out this early in the game. And if you look, you got 20, the worker count is actually relatively even, which is not where you want to be if you're a Zerg player. So I would say that was a pretty good move by ScoJo, and he's followed up with 2 engineering bays to get some fast upgrades, and getting 4 barracks also, getting ready to move down to his expansion, I expect. And we're going to have TheWetFart come down here with some Zerglings to see if he can possibly delay or deny this expansion for as long as possible. Now we have ScoJo doing a little add-on action onto these 2 barracks. Looks like we're getting a tech lab and a reactor. Very nice, very standard. Let's see what goes on. We got the metabolic boost coming through for the TheWetFart, and layer tech, actually, 2 base layer. Nice, nice. We'll see. Looks like, if I had to guess, with 4 gases being taken, I'd say he's going mutiling, which is very standard, very effective against Terran players. So nothing out of the ordinary. We got some bunkers coming down. Let's see if these Zerglings can make short work of these SCVs. ScoJo didn't seem to notice him. And he's starting to react now. He's got some Marines. The Zerglings don't have speed yet, so these Marines should be able to handle them with no problem. And the TheWetFart simply just backs out at this point. Now we have the orbital command coming down at the natural of ScoJoFoSho, and a couple bunkers coming up, so it should be relatively safe for the time being. And the TheWetFart's just going to go back, try to get some macro going on, even though he has no drones mining on these gases, or this one for that matter. So this is a little bit of a mistake, I would say. So these mutalisks are probably going to be a little more delayed than he would like. Though now he's getting the gas, he realizes. But you can see he only has like 150 gas at this point in time. You usually want to be pooling up a lot more gas before you start going to mutalisk production. So you can maybe get like 8, 9, 10 out right when the spire finishes. And you can see this gas still isn't being mined. So the TheWetFart slipping a little bit here and there, but these aren't like professional players or anything. It's just a platinum game. He's got a Baneling nest coming through, working down these rocks to try to take the gold expansion. Though, of course, these unupgraded Zerglings are going to take a while to do this, since, well, the rocks have a pretty good amount of armor. Anyways, what do we got going on here? We got Stim Pack coming through, the +1/+1 upgrades for the infantry coming through, some more Marines. Well, that's actually pretty much all we're seeing is Marines. We'll see if he transitions to anything later, like something standard like Marine Tank, or he'll definitely get some medevacs, I assume. But actually, having seen ScoJo play before, I wouldn't be surprised if he just went all Marines, since Marines are oh so fun and oh so good once they're upgraded. And let's see what we got going on here. Is Spire's finished. There are no Mutalisks in production, so he's just getting a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings now, actually. It's rather interesting. I guess he just decided that he didn't feel like having Mutalisks, and this extractor still has no drones mining from it. So the TheWetFart is, well, he is taking the gold base, and ScoJo hasn't scouted for a while, so he probably doesn't know. Yeah, he has no idea these rocks have even been destroyed. And ScoJo's just putting down more and more barracks, creating a pretty thick wall right here. Looks like he's just turtling up, finally getting his factory. Probably going to move into to get a starport and get some medevac soon. His 1-1 is almost done, actually. Oh, now we have 5 mutalisks popping through, and some Zerglings. It looks like the TheWetFart's gearing up for some sort of attack sometime soon, or should at least be gearing up to harass. It doesn't look like there's any missile turrets or any sort of defense really ready for some mutalisk harass, especially in the main base with all these SCVs just kind of hanging around. So it'd be a nice little target for it. Looks like the TheWetFart's just going to come and try to break down these rocks and move into a possible 4th expansion. And we'll see if he gets this base saturated sometime soon, and maybe get some gas mining from here finally, which he still does not have any gas. He's not... Well, he's got most of his larva injects, but some of these... This queen's got a lot of energy, actually. What is going on here? Well, so, yeah, he's just kind of working his way through. We got double starport coming out for ScoJo. Interesting. I wonder what kind of units are going to pop out for him. And the armory through, so he can get some more upgrades for his Marines, which is pretty much the only attacking units he has. Yep, just 1 mule, 41 SCVs, and 45 Marines. We'll also have to see how well this works out. I'm expecting ScoJo to do some pretty nice drop harass or something, so that's the only way you can really make mass Marines work in this kind of a matchup. And he's going to have some nice splits to avoid all these banelings, since, well, they do... Nope, centrifugal hooks has not been researched, so maybe that won't be too hard to deal with until that gets researched. I don't know if the TheWetFart decide not to do it, or if he just forgot about it. But since he still hasn't started mining from this gas, I wouldn't be too surprised if he just kind of forgot about it. And what do we have here? We got a Raven coming through. Very cool, very cool. Raven is, in my opinion, a very underused unit, but a very awesome unit at the same time. He can do so much stuff. You know, aside from detecting, though, since the TheWetFart hasn't researched Burrow, that won't be too necessary. But auto turrets, seeker missile, both very useful abilities. We'll see if he uses it to do some harass or, you know... Oh, here comes a Mutalist right into the main. Fortunately, ScoJo has put up some turrets to get ready, though he's not moving his SCVs. He could lose a number of SCVs here, actually. And the Marines finally coming in, though it's still not quite getting a hold of these Mutalists, so we're just kind of wreaking havoc all over this base. Now the Raven comes out, see if he can focus down the Raven. Oh, man. He's gonna... Oh, no, the Raven lived. No, oh. Well, there goes the Raven. Very cool, but not very good against a number of Mutalists on its own. So, looks like ScoJo... Well, actually... Wait, where did all these lost resources come from? Maybe from the beginning of the game? I can't even imagine why there'd be so many lost resources. But anyways, a number of units were killed. Let's see if we can see what the... No. Sorry, a little forgetting where we look at the workers. Oh, wait. I think I remember. Hold on. Let's get us back here. 6 SCVs, so not that bad, actually. And, you know, he probably lost a number of mutas right there, and those are a lot more expensive than SCVs, so maybe that harass wasn't that effective, though now we got pretty big push coming down. It looks like a lot of Zerglings and Banelings not upgraded, and doesn't look like centrifugal hooks is done either. And oh, the Marines are coming out this time. This is not very good for ScoJo. See if he can catch this in time and get behind this wall. Oh, and the Banelings are coming in, and the Zerglings are getting some sort of surround, and this is not the most effective use of the Zerg units that I've seen, but it looks like he's going to break through and cause some damage. These all Banelings are going to get into the mineral line, see if they can blow up some of these SCVs, and ooh, oh man, looks like ScoJo's in some serious trouble. I don't know what he has to deal with this. Looks like he's got some Marines coming out in this bunker. Though he has lost a lot of SCVs and units here. And what is the follow-up? Oh, wait, there's a drop going on, actually. I'm sorry I missed this, guys. But yes, this expansion is being taken out by ScoJo's drop. He's got some more Marines coming down here. All the while, there's some Zerglings hanging out his base. But looks like it's going... Well... I mean, this Raven's going to be able to drop some auto turrets. And, well, it looks like they might be cleaned up sometime soon, but there were 40 Zerglings being made for our Zerg player, but not exactly sure where all of them are. We got some idle units over there. See if this attacks it. Oh, he took out the 4th expansion, or the 3rd expansion, the 4th base, whatever, and looks like this attack's going to get cleaned up. So... ScoJo lost 33 workers total, so that was 27 in that last attack, so that was kind of rough. Though if we look at the units lost tab, our Zerg player is still technically behind. Though as a Zerg player, you know, you're always kind of behind the units lost tab since your units are inefficient and he blew up a bunch of Banelings and stuff, so that's just bound to happen. But, oh, this drop is, there's still some damage being going on. That's pretty impressive by ScoJo. Though it looks like that's going to get cleaned up. See if any more workers were killed. I can't remember how many were killed last time, but I think we may have lost a couple. I don't know. I'm not a professional caster. I don't know what's going on here. As we got these medevacs coming back down, we got some more upgrades. Let's see if ScoJo decides to move into another expansion or just try to continue turtling. He's got his mules coming down here. His main's almost mined out. He should probably needs to take an expansion soon. Maybe work up to the gold and put down a planetary fortress, or at least start working on some of these rocks. I mean, maybe he's just worried because TheWetFart has such good map control right now with the Mutiling army. He's running his Stim Marine over here. He's probably going to die really soon. But I'm expecting to see some sort of move from ScoJo because he needs to make one or he's going to be in deep trouble against TheWetFart here. Though TheWetFart's not retaking this base up here. I don't know exactly what he's doing. He's got a lot of gas pooled up, actually. He should probably take... Oh, we got a nice little Doom drop coming in. See where these guys are rallied to. Oh, it's going to get spotted by the Zergling. Ooh, this could spell trouble for our Terran player. But it looks like he's going to try to take out the main. Interesting play. Let's see how many Mutalisks are on the board. 5 Mutalisks. That's not going to be enough to stop this attack in its tracks. Though we do have 8 coming through. Oh. And looks like ScoJo decides to not continue with the drop after being spotted by the Zergling. Especially since all of TheWetFart's army moved right here in anticipation. And finally, centrifugal hooks are coming through. The Mutalisks are coming through. Looks like there's some sort of pause or something going on here. I don't know. Well, hopefully ScoJo does something soon. I hope this drop actually has some effect, since right now he's kind of behind. He's running out of resources. And, oh, the Mutalisks just fly right by the medevacs. What is going on? Does he just ignore them on purpose, or is he just... I don't even know what he's doing. And now he's rallying troops. And, oh, and he's still number... Oh, the Banelings are coming in. Let's see what happens to this... You know, that's not really the most efficient use of Banelings, but, you know, whatever. That's cool. Took out those Marines. And now the Mutalisks are going to come in and take out the medevacs. So there's not too much stuff in the medevacs now, but still pretty hefty loss. And finally, we got another command center coming down for ScoJoFoSho, though. Now he doesn't have too... Well, he's still got a pretty decent amount of Marines. He's got 42 Marines and a Raven, 5 medevacs. Maybe he can defend himself. I mean, if he maintains this good position back here, as long as TheWetFart doesn't just attack straight into the wall. I mean, this is a horrible position for TheWetFart to be in at the moment. I don't know why he's engaging here. This is actually really awful. This is... He just wastes his Banelings on the barracks. You know, I understand that TheWetFart's ahead, but as you can see, his supply just plummeted. You don't want to just throw away units like that, especially since he didn't even bother to take this base back. That was not a good move for him whatsoever. As you can see how far behind he is on the units loss tab. He's just kind of, I don't know, it's like partially throwing the game a little bit right there. That was a very poor engagement. And what is this command center doing? Is he trying to land the gold? He's just take this one Marine and try to break down these destructible rocks? Oh, no, the rest of them are coming. And what are they at? They're 2-1. So the upgrades aren't being researched anymore. I'm not really sure why. Did he lose his armory or something? Nope, his armory's still there. I don't know why he's not upgrading his Marines, because he's got a lot of Marines. It'd be very helpful if he upgraded them. And he decided to stop attacking the rocks. Huh. Don't entirely follow what's going on there. Looks like TheWetFart's finally taking this base again. Oh, now he's back. Don't know what was going on there. But, hey, whatever, it's cool. Starcraft is Starcraft. And we still got 2 Lings going out over here. An Overlord. I'm surprised he's not dropping creep over here with the Overlord to delay the expansion. That's something that Zerg players can really do that can be really annoying for their opponents who are trying to expand, so long as their opponents aren't Zerg. So, since he already has his Overlord here, it would be very simple for him just to drop some creep. But he's not doing that, and it looks like ScoJo, I believe he floated his main command center over there. Okay, so he's double expanding at the moment, and it's going to be kind of hard to fend off. I don't know why TheWetFart's trying to attack this location when this could be... Well, no, actually, this could be a pretty good attack. He does want to deny this as soon as possible, since when your Terran player takes the middle of the map, it becomes, with a planetary fortress, it becomes very... It's not in the Zerg's best interest to have their Terran opponent so close. He's only attacking it with 1 roach, and I don't really know what he's doing right there, but he should... It's not usually a recipe for success. He also blew up his banelings. I mean, I guess he did want to deny it pretty badly, but you usually don't want to use your banelings on buildings, since you do lose your units after, and he's just... Alright. So the TheWetFart did deny his expansion, though. He's still being very careless with his units, which worries me. And right now he's moving his Mulus right to these Marines. And what is he doing? And he's just going to come build some more roaches. So the roach play might actually be more effective against this mass marine style than mutiling, since roaches are pretty good against marines, though it doesn't look like the TheWetFart believes in upgrades. And the carelessness and the upgrades might be his downfall in this matchup. And yeah, like I said, he's just throwing units like one by one, 3 Mulus. He's not gathering his forces. So usually when you're encountering this kind of, what can be problematic if you're a Zerg player, is you feel impatient and you don't feel like you need to gather all your forces up at once before attacking, but you should really make sure to do that, since otherwise you'll just be, I mean, yes, you make a lot of units, but, you know, you've got to make sure you get a group like this that can actually deal the damage it needs to, so you don't end up wasting units, which is what the TheWetFart's kind of been doing all game, which worries me a little bit, since he has been playing better than ScoJo in a number of aspects, but just he's not upgrading, and he's certainly not taking care of his units very well. And there's another Mutalisk he loses, and he's going to lose a Queen right here. Now he's taking his drones to attack, even though he already has these roaches over here, and then ScoJo's just going to pick up in his medevac and go. So this is very interesting. ScoJo is getting himself back in the game by this, so this is very nice. And he did come down and he's got this expansion running now, even though he lost the gold. We'll see if he takes that back at some point, but I guess he needs to make sure he has some mining bases, since this one's pretty much mined out. He only has one at the moment. I'm guessing he's going to float this over to... Yes, he's taking the gold with the orbital, since he's pretty much running out of minerals to mine. But the TheWetFart doesn't seem to... He has 37 roaches, 8 zerglings, and only 37... Wow, he just lost a lot of drones now. You know... TheWetFart hasn't been droning that hard, to be honest. You really would like to see a Zerg player build many more drones than what he's got in the game, especially since, well, he's been ahead for a significant portion of the game, and that would definitely afford him plenty of time to build drones. You can see he's starting to build drones back right now, so that's a good sign. We'll see what he does afterwards. Looks like he's coming in with a match roach, which is okay against Marines, though I would... So, who knows? It might be pretty good. It doesn't look like ScoJo's paying attention, so he just loses expansion right here. And the SCVs are all going down, and oh, this is a bad day for ScoJo. But he's also taking his gold now. I don't know how many SCVs he has left now. Only 20. 20 to 52. So this is putting ScoJo in a rough spot, especially if these roaches just come down and try to take out this base right here. We'll see what transpires now. Looks like we got a bunch of Marines. This is not the best position for the Marines. And, ooh, well, TheWetFart decided to move back, which I don't think he necessarily needed to at that point. He is being severely out-upgraded, so this is going to start favoring our Terran player as this game keeps going on. And still no... Oh, there's an Evo chamber. There's an Evo chamber with no upgrades. So this... 2 Evo chambers with no upgrades. At least to see if he started mining. And he still hasn't started mining from this extractor. Okay, so a number of mistakes. Oh, sorry. He did take out this command center while I was gawking at his base or whatever. Anyways, what is the TheWetFart doing here? Okay, so he decided to hold position for a little and lose, get some units lost for free. And ScoJo with an excellent concave here and excellent upgrades is starting to take down this roach army. Oh, this makes me a little sad. Just some key mistakes by the TheWetFart just losing him the game. I mean, he had this game in the bag pretty much. He just needed to, stay with his upgrades, not throw away his units all the time. And this game could have went much differently. But it looks like this Marine ball is just going to be too powerful, since the +3 attack is coming in soon, and these roaches and lings are still all at 0-0. So as these Marines run in and presumably take out the rest of the TheWetFart's base, as he's only got some units over here, I will just mention that this game is a great example of how important upgrades are. in these longer games. As you can see, we're at like the 32-minute mark, and the TheWetFart just hasn't upgraded anything. I don't know if it's because he thought he already won the game, he didn't feel like upgrades were necessary, or what was going on, but this is not looking good for our Zerg players. You can see he's down in supply by so much now. Oh man. His only hope left is to get some nice Baneling hits, but I mean, he's on one base, ScoJo's on, well, actually, ScoJo's on no bases. Right, he got everything blown up, but he does have this nice ball of Marines, so long as he can split his Marines up properly before the Banelings hit, he should be in pretty good shape. The TheWetFart doesn't look like he's got much going on right now. He's rebuilt his spawning pool. Oh, he's going for the burrow play. See if he can booby trap these Marines. Now, is there that Raven? The Raven is still around, so ScoJo can easily avoid this play as long as he keeps that Raven around his Marines before they walk on that landmine region over there. And this game, oh man, this is really surprising. The ScoJo is just coming in and blowing up the TheWetFart's base, but like I said, no upgrades. His gas is still full, and that careless use of his units, it just hurts me a little bit. You know, if I was like, I don't know, if I was like a serious Zerg player or something, you know, I'd just be in pain after watching this game just because of how the TheWetFart threw this game away. It hurts, you know? I mean, what does the TheWetFart have now? He's got like 24 Zerglings, 21 Banelings, and some Marines are finally coming in. See what happens. They're going to get cleaned up pretty quickly. He's building a lot of spine crawlers, but these Marines are pretty well upgraded, 3-2, so these spine crawlers aren't going to be that effective. And these SCVs are trying to bait the Banelings. Oh, this is pretty awesome, actually. Oh, man, that is how you handle these situations. And yeah, like I said, he has the Raven, so these burrowed Banelings aren't going to be that effective. And once these Marines come in, they're just going to clean house, and this game is going to be over. And, oh, you can see right here, he's using the medevac to spot the high ground. The DPS of the Marines is too high. You can't just run straight in with your Banelings. That is a no-no, especially when you're out upgraded by that much. So, looks like this game is going to end unless these spine crawlers are better than I think they are. But with these medevacs and these Marines, I'm fully expecting these spine crawlers to go down as long as ScoJo's a little bit careful. And looks like the TheWetFart's just building a bunch of spine crawlers to see how long you can make this game last. I don't know. But yeah, you can see how fast these spine crawlers are falling because of how upgraded these Marines are. And just to show you, the stationary defense gets a lot worse as the game goes on. So, you know, if you build a lot of stationary defense early, it's not going to help you as much in the late game. Typically, you only see the big spine crawler play when the Zerg just has a bunch of minerals to get rid of. But yeah, this game looks pretty much over. I'm expecting a GG soon, or the TheWetFart to just leave. Based on what's going on now, I don't really know what he's going to do. Doesn't look like he has much for. Oh yeah, but he just leaves, and that is the end of the game. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this cast, and you can see there's somewhat of an educational experience as our Terran player came back from the depths of, well, doo-doo land with some upgraded Marines, and basically the TheWetFart just, after playing very well and getting very far ahead with some nice Zergling and Baneling aggression, just started throwing away Mutalisks, throwing away Roaches, Zerglings, Banelings, just kind of not really paying attention, not being a very careful player, and then basically let ScoJo back in the game. And my hat's off to ScoJo for keeping fighting, doing some nice drops, getting some very cost-effective engagements, and ultimately winning the game with just better play and upgrades. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this cast, and I will see you guys later. Hopefully more good games from the ladder or whatever. Have a nice day.